Every once in a while, a single idea can change everything. It can start in a quiet room with one person and become a cultural force that shapes a generation. This is the story of a game that wasn't even supposed to be a game, and the mind behind it all. Before Minecraft was $1 billion franchise, before it was a global phenomenon, it was the obsession of one man. His name was Markus Persson, and he was not your average game developer. He was an introvert, a solitary programmer who felt creatively suffocated by corporate life. He worked at large gaming companies, but he felt like a cog in a machine. His days filled with tedious design spreadsheets and committee decisions that strangled his imagination. He was a creator who ached for a canvas that was his and his alone, a work of art untethered from a company's vision or a manager's endless demands. In his search for inspiration, Notch found a small but vibrant community of indie games, a world where developers were creating for passion, not profit. He was fascinated by two titles in particular. The first was Unforeseen, a game that, on the surface, was a competitive mining simulator, but what truly captivated him wasn't the objective. It was the emergent behavior of the players. Instead of just digging for treasure, they were using the game's simple block-based mechanics to build elaborate forts and complex structures. This was a revolutionary moment for Notch. He saw that the most powerful thing a game could do was give its players the freedom to create their own fun, to invent their own purpose. Then there was Dwarf Fortress, a game whose very name suggests its monumental scope. While its ASCII graphics were intimidating, its true genius lay beneath the surface. Using incredibly detailed, procedurally generated algorithms, it created an entire fantasy world complete with its own history, politics, and a million tiny simulated details. The world wasn't a static backdrop, it was a living, breathing thing. From these two sources, Notch distilled a single brilliant idea. What if you combine the intuitive block-building simplicity of Unforeseen with a sprawling infinite world of Dwarf Fortress?
This was his aha moment. It wasn't just a thought, it was an all-consuming obsession. The idea of a digital sandbox where players could build whatever they wanted, where the world itself held infinite possibilities, took root in his mind and wouldn't let him go. This was the core concept that wouldn't let him sleep, a thought that burned with a relentless intensity. He didn't just want to make a game. He wanted to create a universe. And he knew, with a certainty that could only come from a true creator, that this was the idea he was born to build. So, he sat down in his small apartment and went to work. Days and nights blurred together as he meticulously coded every block, every light source, and every line of code. There was no design team, no project manager. There was only him, a computer, and a singular conviction in his idea. The first versions of Minecraft were incredibly simple, blocky, and almost featureless. But their value wasn't in what they contained, but in what they promised. A vast uncharted world. He wasn't just building a game. He was building a dream of creative freedom, one block at a time. He was an artist, and this was his canvas, and he was finally ready to share it with the world. The first version, Alpha, wasn't a finished product. It was a digital prototype, sold for a low one-time fee with a promise to increase the price over time. This wasn't just a business model. It was a pact with the players. Notch said, "Give me your feedback, and let's build this together." The community, a small group of enthusiasts on forums like TigSource, responded in a way he never could have anticipated. And so it was. The success of Minecraft was not the result of a high-budget marketing campaign, but an organic movement, fueled by a community that took ownership of it. The first to step up were not large corporations, but a handful of content creators, who saw something special in the game. Pioneers like Shenaners, Yogscast, and Captain Sparkless began recording videos, not with the intention of promoting a product, but of sharing an experience. Their videos weren't polished trailers, but authentic, unscripted explorations. The raw spontaneity of their narratives, their cries of surprise, and their genuine laughter resonated with an audience looking for something real. They didn't just play, they created stories. Yogscast gave rise to adventure narratives like their famous Shadow of Israfal series, which transformed the game into an epic saga. On the other hand, Captain Sparkless used music to create parodies like Fallen Kingdom and Revenge. These videos not only became community anthems, but also acted as cultural gateways that introduced millions of people to the aesthetics and essence of Minecraft. Even if they had never touched a single block, The game's creativity meant there was always a new narrative to tell, a new world to explore, or a new challenge to overcome. But for this content revolution to take hold, the game needed a more solid foundation. The most significant change came with the introduction of survival mode. This transformed Minecraft from a simple building toy into a high-stakes adventure. It added a layer of purpose and danger that didn't exist before. Suddenly, the world wasn't just a peaceful canvas. It was a relentless place where survival was the only rule. The first sunset became an iconic experience for every player. That moment of panic when the sun sets, and the buzzing of bats is replaced by the terrifying groans of zombies, is a rite of passage. The need to mine for resources was no longer a hobby, but a race against time to craft tools, build shelters, and, ultimately, survive. This simple feature created a sense of danger, a reason to build a home, and a narrative of It was the feature that turned a sandbox into a story-generating machine, perfect for a new generation of content creators.
The ability to add mods and servers allowed the community to create their own rules and worlds, which meant the game would never be the same twice, giving it near infinite replayability. It was a snowball effect. The more people who played, the more content was created, and the more new players were drawn in an unstoppable cycle of growth. The official 1.0 release came with the End and the Ender Dragon, giving the game a proper conclusion. But with this success came immense pressure for Notch. The solitary developer who once longed for freedom was now a public figure under the weight of millions of expectations. He was no longer just a creator, he was a CEO and a community leader, a role he never wanted. The success of Minecraft elevated Notch from a programmer to a public figure, a role he was entirely unprepared for. The company he founded, Mojang, grew rapidly, forcing him to take on the role of CEO. For an introvert who valued the quiet solitude of coding, the responsibilities of management became a nightmare. Instead of creating, he found himself in endless meetings, managing staff, and solving business problems. The pressure was immense. Every company decision was viewed as a betrayal or a broken promise by the community. Updates, price changes, and the game's direction were debated publicly, and Notch felt the constant need to justify every move. The joy of creation faded, replaced by the stress of running a company and the anxiety of disappointing millions of fans. The turning point came in 2014, when Notch's burnout became unsustainable. He approached Microsoft's leadership and in a series of conversations kept secret, expressed his desire to sell the game. Microsoft, which saw the immense potential of Minecraft as a platform for its ecosystem, acted quickly. The deal was finalized for a staggering $2.5 billion, one of the largest acquisitions in video game history. The transaction was much more than a simple purchase. It was a recognition that Minecraft was not just a game, but a cultural phenomenon that required the resources and stability of a major corporation to continue growing. The process was swift and silent, and the public announcement shocked the industry. But for Notch, it was the culmination of a long and painful journey. The sale had a profound and lasting effect on Notch. On one hand, it gave him unimaginable wealth, allowing him to escape the pressures of Mojang and return to his original passion, small-scale game development. However, on the other hand, the sale irrevocably separated him from his creation. The game he built by hand no longer belonged to him. To the public, Notch became a symbol of financial freedom, but in his personal life, the money couldn't fill the void he felt. The game that gave him so much success also stole his peace. He became a solitary figure, an unhappy billionaire who had found his freedom but had lost control over his masterpiece, a constant reminder of the price he paid for his peace of mind. Under Microsoft's stewardship, Minecraft's scale became unprecedented. The company promised to listen to the community, and they did. They introduced a Minecraft Live event, a way for the community to vote on new features and influence the game's direction. Major updates like the Nether update and Caves and Cliffs brought new life to the game, proving that it could still evolve and surprise players. The numbers speak for themselves. With over 200 million copies sold, Minecraft is not just one of the most successful games in history. It has outsold entire franchises, marking an unprecedented milestone in the industry. Its impact isn't limited to a handful of countries, but is a truly global phenomenon. While specific sales figures aren't released by region, it's clear the game has resonated deeply in countries like the United States, China, and the United Kingdom, as well as in emerging markets across Asia, Latin America, and Africa. This global reach explains why 130 million players connect every month. These aren't just players, they are a vibrant community that shares, creates, and explores an infinite universe.
Minecraft's cultural impact extends far beyond its commercial success. The game has transformed into a digital canvas that has influenced almost every aspect of modern culture. In the field of education, it's used to teach everything from math to history, serving as an innovative pedagogical tool. Its blocky aesthetic has permeated fashion, art, and music, with collaborations on clothing lines, art exhibits, and even digital concerts. The game is not just a form of entertainment but a space for creation and social interaction. This impact has manifested in surprising and deeply human ways. There are documented stories of how the game has served as a meeting place for people who would not have otherwise connected. For example, in online forums and gaming communities, cases have been reported of individuals overcoming social isolation or anxiety by finding and accepting community on a Minecraft server. By building together and collaborating on projects, players have forged bonds that transcend the screen, offering a safe space where they can express themselves and feel a sense of belonging. This shows that the game is not just a collection of blocks, but a bridge for human connection, a place where people of all ages and backgrounds can unite to create something meaningful. So, what is Minecraft's true legacy? It's not just about the staggering numbers or the wealth of its creator. It's the story of a single idea that spiraled into a universe of infinite possibilities. The game no longer belongs to Notch, it belongs to the community. Its future is not in the hands of one man, but in the hands of millions of builders, adventurers, and storytellers, guided by a company that understands its power. Notch's vision was a simple sandbox. But what he didn't foresee was that this sandbox would become a canvas for an entire generation, a place where millions of people, from all over the world, could come together to build, explore, and create their own stories. The joy of Minecraft wasn't in the code. It was in the hands of the players, who built a world from nothing. This collective ownership is what truly defines Minecraft's lasting impact. Its legacy isn't cemented in a final version or a specific ending, because the game has no end. It's a continuous, evolving experiment in creativity, a digital ecosystem that thrives on the boundless imagination of its player base. The community has taken the foundational tools blocks, redstone, and commands and pushed them far beyond their original purpose. From the stunning photorealistic cities that rival real-world architecture to intricate functional computers built entirely within the game, players have proven that the only limit is imagination. They've not just played a game. They've developed a new art form, a form of digital expression that combines engineering, design, and storytelling. Minecraft's legacy is also deeply rooted in its social fabric. The multiplayer servers aren't just spaces to build together. They are virtual societies with their own economies, laws, and cultures. This social dynamic has fostered global collaboration and communication, breaking down linguistic and geographical barriers. A builder in Tokyo can collaborate on a project with a designer in Berlin, with the shared language of blocks serving as their common ground. It's a living, breathing testament to human ingenuity and the universal desire to create and connect. The game has become a living archive of collective imagination, a digital monument to the power of open-ended play. It has shown that a game can be more than just a diversion. It can be a tool for connection, a platform for learning, and a medium for artistic expression. Its power lies in its blank slate, which invites every player to write their own unique story. From one man's dream, a digital world was born that now belongs to everyone, and its true story is still being written, one block at a time.